Now I will like to hand over the sharing to Helen, who will help us through the rest of the topics. Thank you guys from my side, and Helen, it's all up to you.
Okay, thank you, Sammy. Okay, allow me to share the screen first.
Sure.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So thank you, Sammy, especially for the part regarding for the cloud service, and which is actually a very important infrastructure also for digital payment and other related service. So I would talk about a bit more about the charm, especially how mobile payment can uh, bring more business opportunities for our business, and also digital banking and some of the back-end technologies like risk control and AML. So let's firstly go to the mobile payment. And if we see our daily life, we will see that most of our daily activities are connected by payments, and we have seen the payment, they have been involved significantly during the past decade. We have the online payment, and we have the offline payment like through QR code or through the post acquiring with merchants. And later on, we have the mobile payments that we can pay anytime, anywhere. But we see the new trends which are best practiced in some of the countries like in Southeast Asia or in China or in other developed markets. That is the all-in-one inclusive payment platform where are like for example we have in Alipay or in WeChat Pay or Gcash, where we are able to hold a vast of payment together so that we can support customers in different scenarios. So that's in this thing, I believe that payments is one of the most disruptive areas that being rocked by the fintech, as we have seen how it greatly like changed our life, even the business. So for payment itself, and if we go a bit deeper, is that we see that we have different consumers or users in different stages. For example, the college students or middle-aged people or old-age people. So those people, they actually have kind of similar sense of value, like they are having probably similar demands for some things, or they would share similar lifestyle and have similar hobbies. So the thing is that how are we gonna to understand those different customers in different segmentations and to understand them, and then so that we can make better decisions, right? So these users, they have been scattered in different scenarios in our daily life, like the dining or gaming, which Sammy just mentioned, or telco or transportation. So those different scenarios, how are we gonna to like perceive our users behind these scenarios? And in this sense, or in this perspective, actually payment, they have been played a very important role. And to understand those users is that why I say payment is very important. For example, for escrow payment is mostly used in like e-commerce transactions. So it helps to set up kind of trust mechanism between the users and the merchants. And for example, QR payment is mostly used for offline acquiring with merchants, especially those merchants that cannot afford a POS, right? And for agreement payment is like we can use it for the bill payment or monthly deduction that we have with water, gas, or electricity, or recurring payment like we have with entertainment or subscription payment. So we see that we have those different kinds of payment capabilities so that we can be able to understand the users and their specific demands in different scenarios in e-commerce, in offline payment, in utility payment. So the key is that we are able to, with these different kinds of payment capabilities, to link our users in different economic activities. So we finally got a true understanding and gain further insights about our customers. And more importantly, we got to know about the merchants' business. Are they have any problems? Do they need any help? And how the overall industry is grows, like how the overall gaming industry is developing. We need to have more new products, and how the dining is going, right? And how the overall economic is going. So we see that payment, it could be very small action in our transaction, but it actually lays more like kind of insights about our business, so that we can say that it helps us to generate data and insights where we can make further intelligent decisions. So that's why we think that payment is more important than we see it. So this is the key which I wish to convey here. And we have the payment that we understand the users and the traffic. And the second thing is how are we going to understand the people? The people is that we have a massive of users in the platform, and the thing is how to retain them, how to keep them always loyal in the platform, and how to make sure that they don't like churn away and switch to other platforms. So the key is how are we gonna do a good marketing and campaign around our users and around their user life cycle. So the things that we can do firstly, it's like the user converge. So we like acquire the users in different platforms with vivid scenarios. And when we have enough users, the things like how are we going to activate them with what kind of valuable services? And the key is to recognize the core demands from the users, like we can tag them in different tags, right? And to make dynamic adjustment, so that the users, they feel they have access to personalized services. And for and another thing is that we need to like to retain the users, especially for those users that being dominant or being sleepy in the platform. Like we need to pay special attention to. So it's also very important we do the user retention. And the first thing would be like we do the user referral, but this is not like a easy thing. It's very important because it will almost like say only happen when the users find that it's really helpful for them to stay with your service. So that in this condition they will like kind of refer your service to their friends or to their family. So you could see that the overall growth metrics would be that we acquire a user and how to activate them, and with what kind of service can we retain them. And only when they feel that it really helps solve their problems will they be like refer our service or platform to the friends. And as long as we retain these users, they will stay loyal, and they finally generates the revenue for the platform. So we see that from a platform's cycle, how very important for us to do a life cycle, a precise marketing based on the users, where we can like explore the users' value and stand in the point of the users. And for Alipay's side, especially, we have a very mature campaign solution where we help our merchants and the platform to launch the campaign and to like manage the campaign, to do the pilot test, and to review and to check whether the campaign is successful and where some new lessons that we can learn, so that we can help to make sure that the merchants and the platform, they can grow together and they know what the users they needs, and that they explore more value from the users campaign management. So this is the very key value that we have based on the payment and based on campaign management. And when we have talked about payment, the traffic, and the campaign, and the next thing I want to mention here is for the financial inclusion. And the thing is that we don't, the society is actually not lack of finance or fund capital. Like we have banks, and we have private banks, and we have many funds companies. And the important thing or the difficult thing is that how to like match the users, the demand side with the supply side. And in this way, the payment plays a very good bridge that links the both parties together. So the thing is that how are we going to match the financial demands of the users in specific scenarios? For example, the people that are renting. So he probably needs a kind of micro loan so that he can pay for his rent regularly without causing too much financial troubles or like applying to a bank's that costs him much energy, right? So the thing is that we were able to, based on our understanding of the users, that we can like devise the finance based on the specific demands of the users, so that the in this way the finance finds a good way to understand the specific demands of a specific user in this submarine, in these sub scenarios. So you can see that it's called, it's what we call the embedded finance. That's to embed the finance into the specific demands of the users. But I want to like point out some of the small points that we need to take attention, which are those. It would be suggested that those demands should be like best meet the users' core demands, so that the users they will think about use the products at the first time, and the products or the service should be highly related with kind of financial products like microloan or cash loan or buy now pay later. So it really solves the problem or the difficulties of the applicants. And thirdly, the service should be high frequency in transactions so that it will generate the as much revenue as possible for the platform. So a scenario would be best understood in these three aspects. And we have also seen that the embedded finance has been brought much rewards to the platform and also to the merchants. Like it helps extend the business radius, especially for those traditional financing like banks or insurance companies. In this way, these products they go into the life of the users and they solve the specific problems of the users. And secondly, it helps build up the credit and data resources, especially for those people that used to be excluded from the traditional financing service spheres. And surely it helps to like monetize the traffic into revenue. And fourthly, is also most importantly, is that it helps promoting overall financial inclusion. So we can see that how important for us to find a new way to embed finance into the specific financial demands of our users and to generate revenue, and more importantly, to bring financial inclusion over the society. So this is the how we can deal with the financial inclusion. And I would like to give you a case, which is how Alipay did with Touch and Go. It's also a local e-wallet in Malaysia. And you can see that in after the cooperation between the two parties, they this wallet they spent like 3 years time to dive into the specific payment scenarios, like through transportation, through expressway toll collection, and through the e-commerce. So by dive into the traffic in those users, they are able to like accumulate a substantial customer base in 3 years time, from 1 million to like 15 million time in just 3 years. And this substantial customer base laid further foundation for Touch and Go e-wallet to like expand their monetary by monetize the traffic that they have during the past years. So they were able to like launch more financial service like wealth management, insurance, and credit score or micro lending. So we can see that it generates much substantial revenue for the platform. And today, Touch and Go e-wallet is actually providing not only payment service, not only financial service, but it works like kind of the ecosystem which Sammy mentioned. So it's a all-in-one super app where people can handle almost all the domestic and cross-border payment or lifestyle demands. So we can see how Alipay helps to transfer the bank's traditional business into a all-inclusive lifestyle service platform. And it's proud to say that it's today's Malaysia's #1 mobile wallet that starts with payment, and its users almost expands like 18 times in 5 years. So that's how the impact of payment that brings to Touch and Go e-wallet. So this is for the mobile payment part. And next thing, I would briefly talk about another area of fintech, which is banking side and the digital banking. And when we talk about banking, I would like to emphasize some of the background information which we have been noticed with the consumers' behavior shift, that we have noticed the new payment methods change from cash to credit to QR code and even pay with a smile, right? And the users' demands, they are also evolving with offline to online or both O2O and in a mobile way. So we see the users' behavior change has also caused the relevant changes in the service providers. Like we see the markets, there are more and more companies join this sphere with either banks or financial institutions or third-party service providers, right? So the participants are on the rise, and they brought substantial changes to the whole industry. So either on the user side or on the financial agency side, like we see more and more branches are closed from the banks, and the customers linking and channel are also having some changes. So the thing is how to catch up with all those new changes. Like how are we gonna to like explore not only competition, but find more place where we can do cooperation together with our partners, like beyond the scenarios where we can find more operation opportunities to differentiate ourselves, right, with extreme user experience and seamless financial services, and later on to build into a local lifestyle service provider. So it's saying like that the banks are used to be far from our daily life, but they could also be like in every step of our life. And this is how we are talking about the digital banking. It has different kinds of modes, whether it's digital banking where we don't have the uh, go to the offline counter to process the financial transactions, or we have the virtual banking that they don't have the offline counters, it's purely online. Or we also like notice third-party vendors that doing the some kind of financial solutions for the financial service providers. So you see that banking is necessary, but not banks, not the physical banks and the institutions. So it's like when we look back and see the overall procedure, we understand that the code, the bank's service are mostly remained constant. Like we need to process deposit, process loan, and provide remittance to our customers. But we see that their process or their evolution has been changed significantly. Like we have been involved from the traditionally information or IT based to later on the internet-based banking. So we from change from the information bank to online banking, where we have like the online banking center where we can process the individual or enterprise banking. But later on, we see the explosion of mobile, where we have the mobile banking, so that people can bank anytime, anywhere, without being restricted to the laptop or to a fixed place. So, and in the later years, which is happening around us, is we see that with the coming of new technologies like big data, AI, blockchain, we see that mobile banking also evolved to more like smart and open banking, where we use those intelligent technologies to transform the traditional banking business modes, so that we see that the banks, how they gradually evolved from the traditionally information bank to today's digital banking, and I believe it's continued to change, to transform, and to impact the whole society. So I wish to say that we can explore more opportunities, like how are we going to catch up with the way of digital banking evolves, right? So this is with the digital banking. And lastly, I would like to talk a bit more about the backend stage, which is like the risk control and AML. They are actually very important as they lay for the foundation for our business to sustain and to survive. So we have been talking a lot about the applications of fintech, which are best embedded by e-wallets and by wealth management or insurance or by digital banking. But those are the top layer applications. And on the back layer, we see that we also need to pay attention to like the regulation technology and supervision technology. Otherwise, it could be quite risky if we don't pay attention to it. So we see that it's kind of like the balance work between revenue that generated by those new fintech business, but on the other time, how are we gonna coordinate with compliance and regulation or supervision from the regulatory authorities? So it's like kind of strike a balance between those two sides. And I would like to talk uh, one part, which is the risk control in the business side. So in our business, mostly we see that there are four potential risks, which is the promotion abuse that happens a lot while we are doing for the platform campaign or marketing activities, or bot attack, which we need to like be alert. They probably like stealing data or install some malware, or card stolen, or account takeover, which could be like not only cause financial loss to our users, but also like being a black point to the platform. Like how are we gonna to convince our users it is safe to use the platform service? So with those risks, Alipay has actually devoted a lot, not only technology but also researcher side, to do the overall risk control. And we are proud to say we have the intelligent risk control engine that can do almost 724 real-time monitoring and early rewarning to do the risk perception, and also AI risk detection. So that we can give like a millisecond level accurate risk identification while faced with any potential or suspicious risks. And itself, the engine itself can also do like a self-adaptation, online learning, and autopilot. So it will help the manager, I mean the manager of the platform, great efforts while monitoring the transactions in the platform, but also make sure that the users, they have the best user experience without like challenging them again and again. And we are proud to say the overall capital loss rate is leading the whole industry with like 5 in 10 million. So that's a amazing um, uh, achievements that we have get with the risk control engine. And this is from the business side. And I would like to talk lastly with the anti-money laundering solution. So we see that among all the risks in our business, and the limit is with the money laundering, because if we don't handle it well, it could be very severe. that we have to cooperate with the regulatory authorities, or it could be like faced with the business license. So it's very important that we pay much attention to this kind of like anti-money laundering um, requirements. And this activity actually happens very soon after we do, even when we were doing the online, not only for KYC or KYB. So it starts almost the very second that we onboard into the platform. And at the back end, we do very strong and very accurate screening against potential risks, and it comes from different kinds of databases like a sanction list, or either in real time or in batch, or against a specific group like the PEP. So we can see that it's very important for us to like integration or cooperation with different screening lists. And even in the transaction, it's also very important, like we do the customer risk rating and the transaction monitoring, so that we can tell either from the dashboard or from other modes that whether the transaction is suspicious or not, and whether we need to like be cautious of any potential behavior, so that if any kinds of suspicious activities happens, the platform should like challenge or to ask the applicant to provide more information, so that we don't like trigger any potential money laundering activities. Even when we find any kinds of suspicious activities, it should like challenge and report to the relevant authorities. And we are proud to say Alipay Plus ML Solutions has been granted with over 30 patents, and it's now have covered over 14 multi-languages. So that with these solutions, we were able to like do a life cycle and global regulatory coverage, so to like safeguard the business in a long term. So that the importance of anti-money laundering and meet the requirement of the compliance. And that's actually the all the contents from my side. And thank you, Sami. And you may take the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Helen, for this information. Yeah, I would love to welcome Mr. Saleh Al-Nakhlani, you Telecom CIO and the board member. He just honored us with his presence. Hello, Mr. Saleh. And if you guys have any question want to ask Helen or Sami, please send me a message or DM in the chat box, or just raise your hand because we are a little bit late, so we